Imagine walking into your boss's office and giving notice because your writing has become your primary revenue stream. Or your podcast is successful enough that you can quit your day job. Or maybe having your marketing on autopilot so you can spend your time on the art career you love rather than on marketing. Are you a creative person who's great at what you do, but marketing makes you freeze? You're not alone. I help passionate, purpose-driven creatives overcome fear, find their brand voice, and build a marketing strategy that works for them. Oh yeah, I also make it easy and painless. It's never too late to grow the business you've been dreaming about. Book an introductory call with me, Rob Southgate, at southgatesmallbusiness.com today. And let's take the pain out of marketing together. Four Horsemen Publications is back at Indy PopCon with 14 incredible authors and more books than ever before. Meet and get books signed by Erica Lance, Valerie Willis, J.M. Paquette, Eric Deckers, Rick Hines, Morgan Moreau and Katie Jenkins, Nick Smith, P.C. Nottingham, Andy T. Hansen, Chelsea Burton Dunn, and K.N. Fitzwater. Catch them all at the Four Horsemen booth at Indy PopCon. PopCon Indy runs June 25th through the 29th, 2025 at the Indianapolis Convention Center. Get more information and order tickets at popcon.us/popcon-indy or click the link in this episode's show notes. Welcome to Inkblots, the show where I interview authors about their lives, writing, and the books they love. Be sure to follow the Inkblots podcast on Substack. Not only can you listen to the latest episodes, but our Substack also has interview transcriptions and links to books and other items that we talk about on the show. If you like what we're doing, please give us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and on YouTube. It really helps us and our sponsors out. Oh, and leave comments. We really do read and respond to every one. Now, let's get on with the show. Welcome to Inkblots. Today I have with me Nick Smith, an author from Four Horsemen Publications, who, those of you that are listening to this in May or June of 2025, Nick is going to be appearing at PopCon Indy in June. You're going to get to meet him live and in person and talk about his new book and his whole series that he has. So here, we're going to do a little bit different thing than we've done on our normal Inkblots. We're going to just do, get this, we're just going to do lightning round questions. And then we're going to have Nick back for a full-on author interview. But for now, let's do a lightning round one. That way people can kind of get to know you a little bit. But Nick, right up front, why don't you tell people who you are and tell them about your book series?
Thank you, Rob. Thanks for having me. I am a filmmaker, I'm an educator, and today I've got my writer hat on because I'm a best-selling author. I'm best known for the Whiskers in the Dark series, which is about cat detectives and cat journalists who live in a city of cats. And they have adventures. It's pretty gritty. Kitty litter gritty.
Oh, gritty litter, yes.
Yes.
So, you know what? I am going to ask some questions that are not my normal lightning round type questions. First, what inspired you to write, like, cat noir with cats as main characters?
It just popped in my head. I was, training to be a writer. I got, for example, a bachelor's in screenwriting for film and TV. And I was always told, write about what you know, write about what's around you. I've always had cats in the family. So I just studied them. I tried to figure out what makes them tick. And I was fascinated because they're, soft and cuddly on the outside, but they'll go murder a bird or, like scratch you if you go near them.
Right.
On the other hand. So I'm like, wow, that's fascinating to have the two kind of sides of the character.
I think if they could figure it out, they'd murder you in your sleep as well. So
totally, yeah. Steal my baby's breath, you name it.
It's always a touch and go thing with them, isn't it? So, okay, how do you go about balancing the would you call these cozy mysteries? I mean, they are cats with using cats. I mean, is there a balance there, or are you just like, hey, I made him a cat, I'm going to throw in, they're going to lick their butt once in a while and play with a fuzzball, but really it's a mystery. How do you balance that?
The bottom line is it's a mystery. There's political machinations and there's, crimes to solve, but it stops it from getting too heavy, having the cats in it. because I can have the cat puns, right? I got some perfect cat puns.
Oh,
And I can kind of have those softer moments. Really just want to play with a ball of string and, give the readers a break from the heavier stuff where the city is in a pressure cooker. There are riots. The cats don't get on with the dogs. So it can get pretty intense. But then you got some fluff.
sure. And they lick that fluff to keep it clean. So
They do.
what's the trickiest part about writing animals with human traits and really keeping them believable?
Definitely thinking like a cat is not easy because we take so much for granted. For example, cats don't know what doors are exactly. So I had to create a world where there are no doors, right? There are no kind of things that only humans would create. They don't have them. But they also have their own versions of many things that we use, if that makes sense. A good example is the newspaper that the main character, Julius Kyle, works for. He works for the Scratching Post, which is the city's biggest newspaper.
That's excellent.
And they smell it. They smell the newspaper. They use their sense of smell to sniff the news. So that's how cats would pick up messages, like dogs, whereas we would just read print and that would be it.
Right. Then if they like it, they rub their face on it, get a little of their saliva on it. If they don't like it, they scratch it. Yeah, I get it. I've got cats, so
yeah,
I do get it. So did you make it when you were writing the cat type concept? Did you look at this is going to be a weird question, I'm just going to warn you. Did you look at it kind of like Andrew Lloyd Webber writing Cats, where you're like, they're cats, they're in their universe, but it's kind of a human world? Or did you go, it's Howard the Duck, it's Duck World, but it's cats, and it's kind of like our world, but it's cats?
We're getting pretty deep here because I need to give kind of guideposts for human readers, right? That they could understand what was going on. They could relate to the geography. I couldn't go totally cat-tastic, right? People had to be like, okay, this is an alleyway. This is a street. This is a tower block. So yeah, I didn't definitely not go musical. Didn't do Andrew Lloyd Webber. If anything, there's an animation flavor, more Zootopia type flavor, because I'm looking at the different kinds of animals and breeds and how they would interact, especially with the dogs,
Yeah. The dog thing can be tricky. I get it. So do your cat characters, any of them, main character or whatever, are they reflections of cats that you have known?
No, not specifically. There are 4 books in the series. So as I developed the different books and really tried to make distinct personalities, that's when I started incorporating, cats that I had in the family, but really just as a basis. So just using their name or just using one peculiarity they had. A lot like, if I'm going to not use a human in a human story, but just kind of have them as a slight inspiration. I'm going to take one trait from them or one, their middle name or something, just for fun, just as a launching off point. But otherwise, the cats are original, yes. So they're not based on any cats, living or dead, just like it says at the beginning of a story.
Very interesting. So, okay, there's 4 books in the series. I know that the 4th book is on pre-order right now. The 4 books, number 1 is Milk Treading, then Cat City, then
I got it right here.
Something of the cream. What is it? The Cat Who Stole the Cream. I was in the ballpark.
You were so close.
And then is that what? That one is out though.
Yeah, but so that one just came out as we're talking. It came out 5 days ago, so it was very exciting to see this imprint with a beautiful wraparound cover. It's very cat noir, as you put it. And I can't wait for the next one to come out, which is June 17th.
And that one is The Bay of Hounds. So we've got some dog issues. Now, That's it, though. It's 4 books, and you're out on
Yes,
Whiskers in the Dark is the name of the series.
indeed.
Now, do you foresee that being the real end, or are you like, you know what? We're going to go back and do the 2 Jakes, but with cats, and it's going to just keep going. I mean, is that something that you've kind of considered, or are you going to maybe switch it up and do like, now we're going to do the dog perspective? Or are you like, I'm done with the animals. I'm now going to write about, I don't know, world hunger.
I have a lot of stories to tell, but as far as the dogs that you mentioned, most of this kind of arc is told from the cat's perspective. It's just the way it worked out. And the one thing that I wasn't able to do was really to have, a dog hero and really drive the story. There are some great dog characters, especially in the Bay of Hounds. So I'd love to let them off the leash and just let them, have their own stories, their own adventures. But we'll see. It's like reader demand. If people want to see it, I'll write it.
All right, first book in that series is Off the Leash. What about writing rituals? I mean, do you have a cat nearby that you kind of, even though they're not one of the characters, you're kind of like, oh look, they're now walking on my shelf and knocking things off, and I'm kind of inspired by this.
That's so funny you said that, because one of the cats I live with, Tiny Tim, just knocked a picture off the shelf
of course
started talking. He's like, hey, what about me? So they don't inspire me directly, but they're around. And usually I'm really intensely into writing part of the story. And that's when they decide to sit on the keyboard or
always
get in the way.
Always. Well, you could actually take whatever they write when they step on the keyboard, make that maybe your forward. It'd be very interesting, only for cats, but it would be interesting.
I actually tried that with one of the books, but it was a cat of few words. He wrote 2 lines. I'm like, hey, come on, help me write the whole book.
That's not enough. So do your cat characters, I mean, I'm sure they have distinct personalities, but as far as the breeds, do you get into it where like certain breeds, Sphinx are they're Gemini and they are this, or is it more individualistic for the cats?
I definitely get into the breeds because, cats they like, some of the breeds get on better than others. So there are certain breeds that are looked down on by the other cats, and some bigger cats, they rule basically because they're bigger.
Yeah.
Big predators. So yeah, I do play with that a lot, and I get to describe the different cats. So there's a Manx cat with no tail. There's a lynx with the big tufty ears, and just really trying to keep it as visual as possible for readers.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil anything here. I got a question though. Is there one scene or twist we'll go with the latest book, that you are especially proud of? Because mysteries, you usually have that moment where you're like, that's where I nailed it. You don't have to spoil it, but is there that moment in each book, and especially in this like last one, where you're like, yeah, that's the thing?
There are twists, yeah, but really, as you get to know the characters, they can be their own worst enemies. So they create these situations that they get stuck in, and the twist is, that was all their fault that they got stranded, or how they got out of that by some ingenious method. So yeah, there's a couple of moments in the last book where I'm like, yeah, they got their just desserts, but they'll figure a way out because they're a cat.
Yeah. Yeah. So those are the fun things to write, is when you've solved the puzzle, right?
Yes.
So, okay, here's a weird question. And then we're going to hit the lightning round questions that I started this show with, right?
Right.
So if your books were turned into an animated series, what voice actors would make up the dream cast of your cat detectives?
That's a really good question. I've been thinking about that because the great thing about voice acting for animation or any, media is that there's no kind of age limit. So I would like to work with some older actors, some older movie stars or TV voice actors, and they could play any age of character, right?
Sure.
10-year-old cat,
Or
15-year-old
gender.
cat.
I mean, women play male
exactly.
characters a lot and men play female characters a lot. So,
And I know that actors like that too, because, they can really stretch their range. They don't have to look like a cat to play a cat,
right.
for example.
Right.
So as far as specifics, I thought it would be great to have Michelle Pfeiffer play a cat. She was Catwoman, right?
How appropriate.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. Maybe Antonio Banderas, just making a little cameo. I am not Puss in Boots.
Yeah, doing some of your cat references like that. Yeah. Get Billy West, who did the voice of Stimpy.
Yeah.
That would be interesting. Okay, lightning round. And this is leading into when we're going to do a longer interview another time. But here we go. Let's just throw some of these out there. If your main character had a theme song, what would it be?
Wow. Really put me on the spot.
I am. You don't come on here. It's not called Friendly Happy Treehouse Show. It's ink blots. It's messy.
Okay. It would be a Kifness song. It would be I don't know the names of the Kifness' songs, but like Scraping on My Toilet Bowl or whatever.
Okay. Good enough. Okay. Cat perspective. What's more suspicious? Tipping over a plant or a missing can of tuna?
Oh, the missing can of tuna, because they're evolving and more things are going to get missed.
Aha. Plus, cats are recidivists, so they can't help themselves. They want to keep going in. What is? I don't want to say what is. I want to change this one.
Okay.
Would your lead feline ever break the rules to solve the case?
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah. Because they are naughty. They would absolutely break their rules, but there are consequences.
So, cozy mystery or hard-boiled noir? Which one is this going to fall into?
It's going to be hard-boiled.
Hard-boiled. Yeah. All right.
Too attached to those kittens. You never know.
Oh. So you're one of those writers. Great. What's your favorite fictional cat?
My favorite fictional cat? Wow. That's a really good question. Heathcliff is so out there. He will just do unexpected things. So I'll go with Heathcliff.
Heathcliff. I was not expecting that answer. Okay. Which one is more beneficial in your world for solving crimes, Claws or Whiskers?
Let's go with Whiskers, because they can do so many amazing things that we don't even think about. Not just figuring out how wide an exit is and how the wind is blowing against your face. So it's like having an extra sense.
I think Bad Cat would be the one that would say Claws, and the other would say Whiskers, right?
Yes. Exactly.
So, okay, last question. Your main cat detective, okay? Because there's got to be a main character, I'm sure. Yeah. What would their catchphrase be?
Wow, yeah, that's a tough one, because it would have to really sum up the whole character. They watch a TV show called Wonder Cat in the books, and Wonder Cat's catchphrase is "out with your claws." He pops out his claws.
So maybe you'd go with that. Let him ape that catchphrase. Okay, I'm good with that. All right. So for now, that's going to end this interview. Nick, thank you so much for being on. You listening, you can catch Nick Smith at PopCon Indy. It's June 27th, 2025 through June 29th, 2025. He'll also be on panels there. He'll be behind the booth. You can meet him. You can get books signed. You can meet all the other authors there. It's a great time. You do want to meet Nick. He's a great guy to talk to, too. And if nothing else, if you can't make it to PopCon Indy, you can order all three of his books and the fourth, which is coming out June 17th, through the Four Horsemen Publications website, fourhorsemenpublications.com. There's an author section. Go to Nick Smith, and boom, they're all there. So this is your chance to, I had some kind of funny thing I was going to say, and I completely lost it. You know what? It's
It
the
sounded
cat
so good in
me.
your head.
Oh, it was so good for 1 second. But like a cat, I get distracted easily. Nick, thank you so much. Where can people find you aside from the Four Horsemen website?
Thank you, Rob. Go to #NickSmithFilms. You'll find my Instagram. Nick Smith Films is my website, my YouTube channel. So go look for Nick Smith Films.
You've got your marching orders. I'll put all this in the show notes. I'll put links in the show notes. Go see him at PopCon Indy. I'll put that in the show notes. Nick, thank you so much for being on. I can't wait to have a little more formal, a little more highbrow discussion.
I shall be prepared.
That'll be coming soon. Thanks a lot, Nick.
You're welcome.